welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. My name is Hallie and I'm so happy that you're here. In today's video, I thought it would be nice to spend a few days doing some of my favorite cozy bookish hobbies. If you watched my most recent reading vlog that came out, it was a travel mood reading vlog, mood reading on vacation basically. And in that video, I talked a little bit about how I thought I was coming out of a reading slump, but now I feel like I'm still in a reading slump, even though the last two books that I've read have both been really amazing 5 stars. So we're dealing with that confusion. But also I did mention that both of my kids are in school now for the first time. They're in kindergarten and first grade. So this has been the complete start to a new chapter of our lives and a completely different schedule than we've ever experienced. And because they're both in school, I have a lot more free time during the day to do other things than just be a caregiver and be taking care of them, which is so weird and crazy. I'm still adjusting to it. So because of all that, I literally just want to spend the next few days doing all of my favorite hobbies, all of my favorite bookish things, just a cozy little vlog where I do some of my favorite things. So things on the agenda that I was thinking we could do together. I feel like this is gonna just be a very casual vlog, spend a few days with me doing all of my favorite cozy hobbies, cozy bookish hobbies, cozy bookish things. I just want to hang out for a little bit. So things I was thinking, I have some book mail actually that just came in today. I have 3 different packages. One of them you guys are going to be so excited to see because it's something that I've been talking about over the course of the last few months, and I brought it up multiple times, and you might already know what I'm talking about by that little clue. But I have some very exciting book mail. One thing, like I said, that I think that you might know what it is, but then also a couple things that I think a lot of you will be very, very surprised about, and it's kind of a sneak peek into some content that is coming in the future as well. So I really want to do that because obviously book buying and book collecting is a hobby in itself. So we'll start off with a cute little mini book haul. I really have been trying not to do too much crazy book shopping because I have enough books already, but never hurts to do a little bit of book shopping. Anyway, so I definitely want to do that at some point. I also want to work on my reading journal. I don't think I'm necessarily going to worry about getting caught up because I did miss a couple of months of spreads. I don't really want to catch up on those spreads right now. I honestly kind of just want to make my August spread, and then I'll go back and update the ones that I missed later on. I don't know, I'm trying to only do it when I'm in the mood for it and only do what I'm in the mood for, if that makes sense. So right now I'm literally just in the mood to do the August one. So I think I want to make my August spread in my reading journal. I also, because we have the book haul, there's a couple of bookshelves that I want to reorganize. I also think some of the shelves might need to be wiped down a little bit and dusted. I don't necessarily want to do a full bookshelf reset like I would do in the monthly reset videos, but I'm gonna move around a couple of the shelves to fit the new books that I have been accumulating. So we will do that. I also think maybe, I don't know if I'll end up doing this, but I need to go through and update my read it or unhaul it jar because I did get behind on adding books to that as well whenever I was getting them, and now it's kind of confusing because I think lost track of which ones I have added in there or not. So I'm gonna have to somehow figure out a way to check which ones I have added into the jar and which I have not. So that should be fun and not confusing at all. While we're doing this, I want to listen to some audiobooks. I love listening to audiobooks. I love listening to audiobooks while I clean and do things. I love listening to audiobooks while I physically read with my eyeballs. I just love audiobooks so much, and I haven't been listening to them recently. I feel just because I have been in a reading slump and depression. I've been talking about this over the course of my last few videos, but I feel because of that I'm just laying in bed and rotting and not even listening to audiobooks, not even reading at all. So now that I'm at least coming out of my depressive spiral that I was kind of stuck in for a few months, I still feel the reading slump portion of that, but honestly I'll take it just so I can be out of the depressive spiral. Now that I'm out of that, I really want to respark my love for audiobooks and get back into listening to audiobooks. I just have not really been listening to them. So during everything that we're doing in this video, I do also want to be listening to some audiobooks. I know that right now I'm in the middle of the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook. I think I'm on book 3 still. I've been moseying through book 3 for so many months at this point. It's so good. I literally love that series so much actually. So I think that I will be listening to that. And then I think I'm also in the middle of Finale by Stephanie Garber on Spotify. Spotify. So I don't know, a couple of different audiobook options. Basically, we're just gonna spend the next few days doing cozy hobbies and bookish things that make me happy. And that's it. That's the whole video. It should be a really fun, cozy, relaxing, rejuvenating few days. Speaking of hobbies though, actually, one hobby that I used to enjoy all the time but I have kind of forgotten about, playing guitar. And I have talked about a bunch of times in my videos how I like love music. I play piano, I love to sing, usually not in front of people because that scares me, but I love to play piano, I love to sing. I used to play a lot of guitar. Nothing crazy, I literally just like am self-taught and really enjoy playing music like for myself basically. But as we all know, I have been wearing nails pretty regularly since January. I would like do nails here and there before this year, but this year I've really committed to doing my nails really regularly. So this whole year pretty much I've had a full set of nails on and I love them so much, but it does mean that I can't play a string guitar obviously if I have my nails on. But that's why I would like to thank Liber Live for sponsoring today's video and making it possible for me to play guitar again even while I have my nails on. This is so cool. This is actually a stringless smart guitar made with the intention of making music for everyone. It is the first of its kind and I truly think that it, one, really does help take away the intimidation factor of like trying to learn a new instrument and trying to learn guitar, but two, it makes it possible for me to play again while keeping my nails, which is the biggest plus I have ever heard in my entire life. And whenever you're not actually playing the guitar, you literally just fold it up like this and it gets so small. It makes it perfect for both traveling and storage, which I really appreciate. And when you are ready to play, you literally just flip it open, turn it on, and connect it to the Liber Live app where there are hundreds of interactive chord sheets for popular songs. Playing this guitar has been so easy and simple and so much fun and has genuinely, again, just been the perfect solution for like what I was looking for and what I needed to satisfy that like wanting to be able to play guitar and not being able to. It's genuinely just like such a fun hobby. To play a song, you literally just search the app for whatever song you want to play and then you just follow along with the interactive chord sheet. Every song has color coordinated chord prompts that synchronize with these LED indicators on the neck of the guitar. And it's literally as simple as that. It's so easy, it's so fun. It's literally like playing Guitar Hero but in real life, except with this you get the feel and the sound of playing like a real life acoustic guitar. And not only are there so many different guitar sounds that come with the Liber Live app once you connect your guitar to the app, but you can also add drum sounds and beats while you're playing the guitar. You can add in piano, essentially making it possible for you to be a one-man band with this one stringless smart guitar, which is insane. Like, that's so cool. So I am gonna play a little bit of a song just so you guys can kind of see what it's like in real time, to follow along with the app and kind of hear how it sounds. And I am going to quietly sing with it, which is scary for me, so be nice to me, okay? I chose this specific song because this one I really like because it has a guitar version and a piano version, so you'll be able to hear like both options, if that makes sense. I'm like so nervous. Sorry, okay. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. It's okay. This is the guitar version of this song. I will leave my heart at the door. I won't say a word. They've all been said before, you know. And then to switch to piano, instead of hitting this long bar right here, you just hit the short bar in the front and it sounds like this. Why don't we just play pretend like we're not scared of what is coming next, scared of having nothing left, look down. So that is a little bit of what it sounds like. Hopefully me singing that back on camera does not cringe me out too hard and persuades you guys to give this a try for yourself. I feel like it has been the perfect summer hobby to add to my little hobby list. If you guys would like to try Liber Live's stringless smart guitar for yourself, everything that you need will be in my description box below. Go ahead and click that link to try out Liber Live for yourself. Like I said, I genuinely think this is so cool and I highly recommend it. It is so easy to use. Like, even my kids have come in here and and made up little songs on the guitar and had the best time. It's just been so much fun, and I highly recommend if you've been looking for a new hobby that's super easy to get into, or if you've been interested in learning guitar but you've had a hard time learning because learning a full string guitar is a little bit difficult and also painful for your fingers. And there's lots of different reasons why also people can't play instruments if you have different health conditions and stuff like that. So this really just makes music very accessible for everyone, which is LibraLive's goal, to make music for everyone, which again, I just love so much. So I also wanted to come on here and add, I was pronouncing the name incorrectly. It's actually LibraLive. So if you guys would like to try a stringless smart guitar from LibraLive, everything that you need will be linked down in my description box below. Again, I highly recommend it. It's genuinely been so much fun, and I think it would be a great addition to everybody's hobby list. Thank you again so much for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Really quickly, before I get started on my reading journal, I want to do a little mini book haul. I'm so excited for these. I'm gonna start out with the package that I am honestly most highly anticipating, because if you guys have watched my most recent reading vlogs, I have been talking about the Crowns of Nyaxia Bookish box special editions and how I ordered them 8 months ago and was receiving like no updates, and every time that I would check the website, the date would just be pushed farther and farther back. So just when I lost all hope, and literally in the last time I talked about this, I'm pretty sure I said hopefully I just ever receive them, like I literally was starting to think maybe I just would never receive them, I get a notification that my package will be delivered later today, and then it just arrives. Like, it makes no sense. That happened with the other one that I ordered. I think it's called Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. I ordered that one, got no updates, and then randomly it was just like, hey, your package is gonna get here today, and then it does. Like, it's the weirdest thing, but I'm honestly not complaining because I'm so happy that they're here. I'm beyond excited to actually see them in person. I haven't really seen anyone else post these ones in person yet because no one has gotten them yet, so I'm just so excited to see them in person. I'm so excited to finally put them up on my shelves. Every single time that I reorganize my bookshelves, I'm like, oh, that would be amazing to put right here, but I don't have them. So excited. I honestly feel like I haven't been this excited in a long time to open a package. And by that I mean actually just a few weeks, because I was very excited to open the last packages that I opened in the last vlog, where it was like the signed Tara DeWitt book and the Tara DeWitt special edition, but I literally cannot believe I have these. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Wow. Wow. Okay, so these are beautiful. These are so pretty. Was it worth the 8-month wait? I'm thinking hell yeah. I'm thinking, would I do this again? Yeah, I would. I'm not gonna be an animal and bite this open like I really want to. I need to find a sharp object. Okay, I need to do this without scratching the book though. Biting it really is so much easier. Oh my god. I'm so happy right now. I'm actually so happy. So we have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I love these covers, but just wait until you see the reverse dust jacket because it's arguably better, or at least equally as good. Okay, so this is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, the spine, the back. It's so pretty. And the quote says, maybe the king always knew that his greatest love would be his ruination, which if you've read this, tear, sigh. So good. And then we have the third book in the series, The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. This cover is so much more pretty in person. Like, it looked really pretty online, but I feel like seeing it in person, I don't even know if the camera is like doing it justice. It is so beautiful. The spine and on the back, stunning. The quote on this one says, this is the tale of how a chosen one falls. I literally have the arc for the next book. I need to read it before it comes out. It's literally supposed to come out in like a week or something like that. I need to hurry up and read it. Now we get to the reverse dust jacket, the naked hardcover, all the good stuff. I'm so excited to see it in person. This book, it looks like, does have a little bit of, can you see it? Like, it's kind of squished in the corner. Honestly, at this point, I feel like I don't even care. I am not gonna sit here and try and wait for a replacement. But stunning hardcover, like, beautiful. The reverse dust jacket. This is so beautiful. I don't even know what to say. I have no words. This is so beautiful. I'm so excited to see this on the shelf next to my other copies. So I'm gonna try that on in 5 seconds, but just to show you guys. So wait, this is kind of a spoiler. If you haven't read the series, I don't know if you'll want to look at the end papers. I will show it, but you can skip literally like 10 seconds ahead to miss this. Okay, skip now if you don't want a little bit of a possible spoiler. If you don't read into it, it won't be a spoiler. Just look at the beautiful art. Okay. It's so pretty. It's actually so pretty. Stunning. And then the sprayed edges also are just like beautiful. So all around, honestly, we're getting 10s across the board, okay? 10s across the board. Let's try the dust jacket on the reverse side to see. I feel like every time that I see anyone with the edition, the bookish box edition for the first book, no one ever wears the reverse dust jacket like this way. And I feel like, why? Because it's so pretty. Oh, this looks so good. Like, this actually looks so good. I'm so excited to put this on the shelf. Like, even the spine is just like gorgeous. I don't know. I love this side of the dust jacket. So at least for now, for the first little while, this is the side that I think I'm going to be keeping it on my shelf. Let's switch the other one too. Also, for the Ashes and the Starker's King, this is the naked hardcover. Again, just like so beautiful. And then we have beautiful end pages. Is just beautiful. And then the edges. Yeah, this is it's a 5-star. And honestly, this is the best outcome because, like, I am not gonna lie, I was really irritated that it was taking so long to come in the mail. And like, honestly, it's not even the fact that it was taking so long to come in the mail. I think it was just the fact that like they didn't do the best job with like updating you on like when you're gonna receive it. And like, I feel like I'm fine waiting for it if it's gonna be this good of quality and look so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I mainly was just irritated because I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea when it's gonna be here. Like, I already paid for the item and like it wasn't cheap. That's my one complaint. I feel like is just, let's get better with the updates possibly. I'm willing to wait for it though if it looks this beautiful and perfect in person. Literally the one thing is on this edition, the top corner is a little bit indented. I think that they look beautiful. They're gonna look so pretty on the shelves. I think tomorrow I'm gonna do a little bookshelf shimmy, I guess we'll call it, where I like move a few things around and we'll add these to the shelves. Like, oh my god, I would even just love them facing spine out because that is so pretty. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm actually so happy right now. This is possibly one of the best days of my life. What a great start to the haul. The next 3 books that I have to show you are actually classics that I have bought. This is like a little sneak peek into some content that's going to be coming. I recently have fallen down the rabbit hole of classics and classic talk. I now have a 25 book TBR of classics that I want to read that genuinely, one, don't sound intimidating, because that's the biggest thing with classics is I always just thought like, I'm never going to be a classics girly. I will never be able to find a classic that I think I'll be able to understand, that won't intimidate me, that I'll actually be interested in. But I'll go into more detail on this whenever I post like a classic book haul, and I'm gonna like really go into depth on like the classics that I bought, but also like the history behind like the author and how like the inspiration for the stories came about, because that's a part of it that has like really made me interested in reading classics themselves as well, because I really like learning fun facts and like how things came about and stuff like that. So anyway, I will go into more detail on all of that whenever I post my little book haul and like start doing classic reading vlogs and stuff like that. I'm genuinely so excited for it. I chose 25 books to add to my physical TBR, and I'm going to genuinely, hold me to this, read all 25 of those before I buy any more classics, because I don't want it to turn into a thing where I have like 50 unread classics on my shelf, like an exorbitant amount. I like having unread books on my shelf so that I can like mood read and like shop my shelves essentially. I don't think that I'll ever read my TBR down to 0 for that reason. Like, I actually enjoy having unread books on my shelf to like shop from. But with classics specifically, I think that the way I want to do it is like acquire a group of them that are like on my TBR, read through them, and then go through another process where I'm like finding different classics that I want to read and add to my physical TBR, and kind of do it that way so that it doesn't like snowball out of control. So I chose 25 to start with, and then I'm going to slowly read through those, and once I read that specific TBR down to 0, then I will, hopefully if all goes to plan, then repurchase more classics in the future. So that is kind of what I'm thinking. The first set of classics that I have, I actually got off of Pango Books used. It is a set of 3 like vintage classics, so I'm hoping that like I'm actually able to read from them and they are not like too confusing, because I'm pretty sure these ones were like genuinely vintage versions, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, in looking up classic editions, I have slowly but surely realized that the only thing that matters is not the cover of the classic, because the translation and everything will change the reading experience for it. If it's like super confusing, like it might not be as enjoyable for me to read. I think for most of the classics, I want to read like the physical book. Classics just equal physical book in my mind. For some of them that are like really, really big, I might end up reading from the Kindle, but I don't know. So whenever I started finding classics that I wanted to read and started looking for physical copies of them, I was going back and forth between just getting all like Penguin editions, like the black and white Penguin editions. There's just like a billion different versions of classics. And what I ended up deciding on was I wanted to try and find a cover for each classic that I felt like really gave the vibe of the book, or like what I think the vibe of the book is going to be, because I felt like when I'm looking at my classics shelf, for me personally, the way that I want my shelf to look, I would like to look at the shelf and be able to like feel the vibe of the book from the spine of the book, if that makes sense. I know this sounds so dramatic, but this is genuinely how deep I think into things like that don't matter. So anyway, that's why I decided. So I did end up getting a couple of the regular black and white Penguin editions for some of the books, where people like really recommended reading the Penguin version specifically just for like the reading experience of it. But there were a lot of books that I was able to find really beautiful covers for that I felt like just really encapsulated the vibe of the story, or like what I thought the vibe would be, because obviously I haven't read it yet. But anyway, long story, not really short. I love the covers of these classics. I think they look so cool, so beautiful. I feel like they perfectly encapsulate like the vibe, and they'll look beautiful on the shelf. So I'm just really hoping that I am able to actually read from these ones, because I couldn't really find anybody reviewing these specific editions on like readability, if that makes sense. I'm so excited to see these in person. So the first one that we have is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is just so cool. Like, it looks so cool. The story also sounds very, very interesting. I feel like this one is not intimidating, one, because it's short, but also because the story like genuinely is intriguing, and also the story behind the author and like his inspiration for writing the story is so interesting as well, and I feel like makes me want to read the story even more. I will get more into detail into all this, like I said in that video, but just to kind of give you a short little about the book kind of, and like why I wanted to buy it. The two books that I was looking for was this and then Frankenstein, which look at the cover of this. Like, this is just so cool. I actually love it so much. So I was originally looking for these two, but whenever I found them on Pango Books, it also came with this one, which is The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. And this is a, I think, science fiction classic. And after looking into this one, I actually am really, really interested in reading this one as well. So I'm really, really excited about all three of these. I feel like all three of these have like such a cool vibe to them. And this is like kind of what I'm saying, where I'm like, they're all classics, but they each are like very individually their own story, instead of like, I like the look of like the all Penguin classics next to each other. It's like very uniform, very academic, very like you've got your life together kind of vibe. But I don't know, I kind of just like the vibe of everything being a little bit different on the shelves, besides obviously, like I said, the couple Penguin editions I did end up getting just so that I can like actually read them, because that is actually the point of a book, is to be able to read it. So I am going to probably later tonight read through a couple pages of these to make sure that I'll actually be able to understand what they're saying and it's not like confusing. But these three I'm not too worried about like readability. I think that it will be fine. So these are the next three books. Lastly, I'm so excited for this one as well. The last book is Dracula, which this version is so pretty. Like, are you actually kidding me? This is so cool. So this is a Penguin classic edition, but it's part of like a vintage classics series or something. And I actually did get a couple others from the series as well, just because I think that the artwork on the cover is so unique and so beautiful. But yes, this is another one, another little sneak peek into some of the classics that I got for my physical TBR, my 25 book starter TBR. So beautiful, and it has like the deckled edges, which I know that that's like very controversial. I really like the deckled edge. Like, I feel like the first time I saw it, I was like, ew, like what is that? I kind of love it now. Like, I don't know, something about it. I just really like it. So this is the last book of our little book haul. I think it looks so beautiful, and I'm so excited to read Dracula. I cannot wait until I can post the video talking about all the classics, because it's literally been my hyperfixation for the last few months, and I've just been silently behind the scenes like in a little ADHD hyperfixation, and I can't wait to like make a video so I can just like spew out all of my thoughts and like obsession and share it with you guys. This is the last book of our little haul. So excited to share all of these with you guys. I feel like this is such a fun little haul, like such a surprise that these are finally in my hands. I genuinely cannot wait to put these on my bookshelf. Now seeing the spines next to each other, I'm like, I don't know if I want to put them face out or spine out, because I just love the reverse dust jacket. I think that it's so beautiful. Honestly, because I waited so long for them, I'm gonna have to put them face out at least for a little bit, and then maybe switch them to spines, because I love the spines for them too. Now I need to find the first edition of this book, which I feel like may be a difficult process, but it's okay. Anyway, fun little haul over. I will see you guys in just a little bit to start working on our little August spread in the reading journal. It's actually the next morning. I think that the camera is like literally almost in the exact same position as yesterday, so probably probably doesn't look like an entire day has passed, but it is the next day. I didn't end up working on my reading journal last night like I thought I would. I ended up getting a headache and I just washed my face off and then rotted in bed. Mark and I watched an episode of Rick and Morty, and then we watched the new South Park episode that came out, which was Major T, so good. That's all I did last night. And then this morning, Marky and I dropped the kids off at school, and he has today off, and he went to my aunt's house to help her because she's getting ready to move. So I spent the morning cleaning around the house while the kids are at school and he was gone. And because I'm like in the cleaning mood, I really want to kind of do my little bookshelf reshuffle actually before I start working on my reading journal. I just feel like very motivated to do it. I'm just really excited to put all of my new classics onto my shelf. So if you're wondering what this ginormous stack of books is, these are almost all of the classics that I have been slowly buying, both used and new. I think that I'm only missing 2. I think that there's 2 or 3 more that are coming in the mail still, so you will be seeing a haul very soon. Well, hopefully soon. I really am like taking time to like research the history of the classics as well, because like I said, that's like a huge part of what really piqued my interest about these classics. So whenever I do a haul, I think I'm going to include a section for each, if not just like most of the books that actually have an interesting history, which I feel like it's all of these books, but at least most of these books have like some little piece of really interesting history that like intrigued me about them. So it's just taking me a lot of time to get ready for that video because I just am literally hyperfixating so much on it that I'm just like having the best time like looking things up about the authors of these books, when these books were written, like the history of like what these books like inspired after they came out, like literally everything like that. So hopefully you'll see that video sooner rather than later, but these are most of the classics that I have been collecting. Seeing them all in a stack like this feels a little bit unhinged. Like whenever I decided the number 25 in my head, it seemed like not that crazy, but like, I don't know, I guess it's because some of these books are really thick that I'm like, the stack is huge. This is actually insane. But anyway, like I said, hold me to it. I'm gonna try and read all of these before I buy more classics. I want to make it through my OG 25 first. But anyway, so you guys are going to get a little sneak peek. I'm not going to go through every single classic that I have bought or what they're about or anything like that in this video because I will have the haul and all that stuff coming up soon, like I said, where I'll go into a lot of depth and detail in that video. But I am going to be organizing these, so you will get to see some of them. Some of them are missing, like I said. But yeah, I'm so excited. I think I decided what shelf I want them to be on. I think I either want them to be on this shelf right here or on this shelf that currently holds my Harry Potter, and I'll move the Harry Potter somewhere over here. That's like what I'm thinking, but I don't know. And also looking at the shelves closer, they are all so dusty, so I think I might go through and give them like a little wipe down and stuff because I don't think I'm going to be doing like a monthly reset video this month. I think I'm going to try and bring those back next month. That is what I'm going to do real quick. I want to get these on the shelf, kind of reshuffle things around, so I'm going to do that. Sometimes I start these thinking that I'm going to move like 1 or 2 things around and then I end up reorganizing the entire shelf. So hopefully it's not like that though. I don't want to do that right now. I really like most of these shelves like the way that they are. There's only a couple shelves that I've kind of been like, they could be better, but they're like okay for now. But I'm mainly just excited to see these all together on my shelf. I'm literally just going to lay in bed and stare at it because I love all these editions that I found and I'm so excited to read them. So enough yapping, let's do a little bookshelf reset real quick. have finished reorganizing the bookshelf and I'm ready to work on my reading journal. I was flipping through this and I was like, when even was the last time that I did my reading journal? Because I was doing pretty good at it in the beginning of the year, but I looked through and the only monthly spreads that I've even done so far are January and March. So the monthly spreads I haven't been keeping up with as much as like the yearly spreads that are like all throughout the front of the book, which I was looking through so many of the spreads and I just like, it's been so long since I even like have thought about having the time / motivation to like work on my reading journal. There's just like so many cute spreads that I forgot that I made, and I feel like looking through it re-sparked my imagination and like my inspiration for the reading journal. And I found this page where I had made a TBR dice game, and I remember when I made that I was like, this is such a cute and fun idea and like such a cute and fun way for me to like get prompts to like read books from my TBR. So let me know if you'd want to do like a TBR dice game picks my reads for like either a reading vlog or like maybe a monthly TBR. I think doing it for a monthly TBR would be a lot harder for me because I'm such a mood reader, so I don't know that that would go over well for like picking an entire month of books, but maybe we could turn this into like a little series on the channel where the TBR dice game picks what I read for like a week or something, and then I have to like pick whatever it is off of my TBR because they're such fun things. So basically I would roll 2 dice and then like one would be for the across and one would be for like the downwards way. And like some of the prompts on here are just so fun, like a book from your least read genre, a book with more than 400 pages, a book set in the past, the last book added to your physical TBR, picking a book solely based on the title. Like, I don't know, just like so many fun and different little prompts, and I don't know, I feel like that would be really fun. So let me know if you'd want to see that because that would be a lot of fun. I know last year I did like a themed video where I did like book bingo picks my reads, which was like one of the prompts. I'm pretty sure I did that again this year's. Oh yeah, so like I have this book bingo page, which it's literally, I need to like think of a different name for it because it's literally not book bingo. Whenever I make these, I'm always like, oh, I want to fill up the entire thing. So maybe I'll like next year I'll just call it like yearly reading challenge because there's 25 different squares, so there's like 25 different prompts. So maybe by the end of the year it'll be like a challenge to like read one book for each of the prompts. I think I've read like 7 of these prompts so far, but I've only glued in 3. That's like another fun one that we could do. But yeah, like I have in here my 25 books to read in 2025, which I completely forgot that I even made this list in this whole page. Flipping through this, I'm like totally re-inspired and very excited, honestly, to be making my August spread. And honestly, I think I want to go back through and like add all of the missing monthly spreads that I'm missing and like get everything filled in, because doing my reading journal and listening to an audiobook is genuinely like, it's just like therapeutic. I feel like it forces my brain to slow down, and like sitting here and like coloring and cutting little things out and gluing things in is just like, I'm trying to say like it de-stresses me. I don't know like what the word that I'm thinking of is, but it's very just like soothing, you know? Like I feel like especially with ADHD, I have 10 million things going on in my brain. There's just like always so much going on. And whenever I make time to like specifically just sit down and do something fun and creative, it's like honestly, I feel like really good for my brain to just like give myself a break. I'm able to like really get lost in the world that I'm listening to. If I'm listening to an audiobook, or sometimes I will just like watch some booktube videos or watch a show in the background. Like, I don't know, I really feel like it's a hobby that is like very therapeutic to do, which I mean, that's all hobbies essentially. Book journaling really has become one of my favorite hobbies because it has to do with books still, which is like my #1 hobby obviously, but it is also just like a really good creative outlet as well. So I'm very excited to be working on the reading journal today. I have been kind of going back and forth between what audiobook I want to listen to while I'm updating the reading journal. I keep forgetting that I'm in the middle of Finale by Stephanie Garber. I have been listening to that on Spotify because it's included in premium. I think that I'm honestly like almost done with it. It's just like, it's not holding my attention. Like I want to finish it, and maybe like my expectations went up a little bit too high after finishing Legendary because I didn't really like Caraval that much, honestly. I honestly was like a little bit disappointed by Caraval. So then I went in and listened to Legendary, and that one was so much more enjoyable. Like something about, I mean, the entire story to me was much more engaging, much more interesting. I liked the way that it was written better. I liked the characters that we were following better. I liked the characters that were introduced. Like all around, so much better than Caraval in my opinion. So then going into Finale, I'm like, okay, like this is great. The series was saved. The last one was so good. I'm so excited to finish it so that I can read Once Upon a Broken Heart. It's like good so far, but I don't know, it's feeling very just like slow, and I'm not really invested in like finding out what happens. I just want to like read it so that I can know what happens and then go to Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is how I was feeling with Carball. So I don't know, I think the second book is going to end up being my favorite out of the series, so part of me wants to listen to that just so I can like finish it. And it is entertaining, like I will give it that, like it is entertaining to listen to and like easy to listen to. I just am not like invested, and I prefer books where I feel like so deeply invested and I feel the characters and the struggles and what they're going to, and I can relate to things, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying, like I just prefer that, to be honest. And if I am reading a book where I'm not necessarily like emotionally or deeply invested in like crazy fantasy plot lines, that's whenever I would more so want that in like a contemporary romance, because that genre's kind of what I go to for that, where it's not super high stakes and like nothing too crazy is going on. But even in contemporary romance, it's like I want characters who I just like deeply feel and connect to. I don't know, I just think I need that in a book for it to be like a higher rated read, if that makes sense. I don't know, that is an option. I also, like I said, have been listening to the third Dungeon Crawler Carl book, and obviously I love that series. That series is honestly just like pure entertainment. I keep mentioning that it almost feels like a comfort listen at this point, and what I mean by that is because like listening to it, especially like if you listen to the audiobook, the narrator does such a good job at like all of the different species and characters' voices that it literally feels like watching a show. And I always compare it to like me imagining it in my brain. I feel like I imagine it like Guardians of the Galaxy style, like where there's humor, there would be like music in the background, there's a lot going on, it's chaotic, but like even whenever things are tense, then you turn around and have like a really lighthearted mood. Things like that. I feel like that is why my brain kind of equates it to having like a similar vibe, even though the storylines are obviously like not similar at all. If you don't know what Dungeon Crawler Carl is, it's essentially where there is like a world-ending alien invasion and a huge percentage of the population is instantly killed. They have some weapon that crushes like any form of a building at all, and so all at once every single building on the entire planet was crushed, and they basically like informed everyone that you have a few hours to enter one of the dungeon crawling cave entrances and enter this basically like intergalactic survival game show. That's what you're following. You're following Carl go through different levels of the dungeon. It's just so good. Like it's just so good. It's so entertaining and very slowly also, because like I'm on book 3 now, and the second half of the book I feel like there's been multiple things that have been introduced where I'm like, okay, I feel like that's gonna come back later and be like a major plot point where there's like a bigger meaning to everything going on. Like up until this point it has been very, I don't want to say lighthearted because there's a lot of stuff that has like gone down in the books where it's like, ooh, like that's crazy, you know, but the way that the book presents it is not giving like I'm gonna cry and be emotionally devastated, even though the things that are happening are devastating, if that makes sense. So I don't know, that one is so good. I always enjoy listening to those books, so like my first thought is like, okay, I want to listen to that because it's just so entertaining. And then my third option is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, because my sister had some extra credits on Audible that she said she wasn't going to use, and then she asked me which books I would want her to buy so that she could use the credits for something that someone would actually listen to. So she does have The Night and the Moth on her Audible as well that I could listen to, and I'm really, really excited to read that book. So those are my 3 options, and I'm very conflicted on what I want to do because one of them I'm already in the middle of, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Love it. Always super entertaining. I think I'm just going to listen to the audiobook for every single book in that series because I genuinely love the audiobook experience so much. Like I'll either listen to the audiobook or do like an immersive read for the rest of them because I do also really like the physical copies of those books as well. Then we have Finale, which I don't really want to listen to, but I want to finish so that I can like be ready to read Once Upon a Broken Heart in the fall and winter this year. And then we have The Night and the Moth, which I haven't started yet, but I'm really, really highly anticipating as a possible 5-star read. So I don't know what to do. I actually hate having to make decisions. So I'm gonna sit and try and get some inspiration for my August title page on Pinterest. Think about what I want to listen to while I do that, and then I'll let you guys know. It'll be like 2 seconds for you guys. Okay, see? literally 5 seconds for you, about 15 minutes for me. I have found a little bit of inspiration. Honestly, sometimes I just have to like find a couple of different pictures that I like and kind of mesh them together, and then once I start drawing, I'll be like, oh, this would be cute here, this would be cute here, whatever it is. So I'm just gonna start my blank canvas and see what happens. Sometimes I do that and I love the way it comes out. Sometimes I do that and then I'm like, I regret every decision I've made and I can't go back. So we'll see which one it is. I did also pick an audiobook. I think I'm going to at least try to listen to the rest of Finale, because I think I only have like 2.5 hours maybe, or like 2 hours left to finish it, just so that I can finish the series, move on to Once Upon a Broken Heart, because I really want to read that this fall and winter. And I've had Once Upon a Broken Heart since I very first started reading. That was like one of the first series that I bought. So I'm going to try and listen to it. I might put it on and it just might really not be the vibe, and I'll just change it if that's the case. But like the story is interesting enough where I'm at to where I'm like, okay, like I'll listen to it and see where it goes. I am like intrigued to see how it ends, because like where I'm at in the book, there has been a major problem introduced, and I'm just curious to see like what's gonna happen. Because one thing I will say about the Carval trilogy is that there are really good plot twists. Like in each of the books, there have been things that have happened that I'm like, wow, I did not see that coming from like a mile away. So I'll give her that. I just am not like super invested. Like I feel like it's just like a decent book. You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely not the best book that I've ever read, but like it's good. Like you get the point. So that is what I am going to listen to. Just connected to the kids movie. Anyway, that is what I'm going to listen to. I'm going to start the reading journal. I'll update you guys in a little bit on reading journal progress and audiobook updates. Finished the August spread. I think it came out really cute. The only thing I'm like not obsessed with are the little birthday numbers. I just think I could have done them better, but it's still cute. Like it still came out really nice. I need to get a new set of markers because my friend Anna gave me these ones, and these are the Tombow acid free. I don't know, I have them linked on my storefront, but I only have the colors that she gave me, and I want to buy like the entire big set of like all of the colors, but it's very expensive. expensive, but for good reason. Like these honestly have like such good color and they don't bleed through. That is like the biggest thing, because I also have these ones, which are the Artist Loft. Years ago, I bought a giant pack on sale of these ones thinking that they were really good because I think these are like alcohol based markers, but they bleed through literally so bad. Like you can see on this side, like everywhere that I used that marker specifically, it bled through so bad, so I have to like put a paper underneath, but then it's like I forget to do that and it will like bleed through multiple pages if I forget to do it, so it's like really annoying. I don't really like using those markers, but like I had to because I don't have a pink version of the good markers, so I'm gonna need to invest in those sooner or later, hopefully sooner rather than later, but they're just really expensive to get all at once, but definitely worth the investment because those are like some of the best markers that I have used, and they're really nice because they have two-sided tips. So you have like a bigger side and then a thin side if you want to like write with them, which is really nice. But anyway, so for each month, if you haven't seen my reading journal before, I do like a whole title page, and then I have a page for my TBR versus the books read, which I update at the end of the month. And then this page, I'll use this side to put like all the thumbnails for the videos that I post, because I just like when I'm flipping through, it's like part of the memories of the month to be able to look at like all the videos that I posted, and I'll be able to remember like which books I read in what video, and I don't know, it's just kind of like a walk down memory lane. And then on this side, I put like my monthly stats, which if you watch my wrap-ups each month, it's just like those stats that I go over in the beginning, like longest book read, shortest book read, average rating, like things like that I like to look back and remember. And then this next page is a favorite books and quotes page for the month. So on this page, I'll just put like the book cover and then like some quotes of books that are like favorites or stick out or just had really good quotes that I really liked from them. And that's pretty much what I do for each month. And then this will be the title page for September, which I'm so upset that I didn't even think about the fact that that marker would bleed through. So I'm gonna have to figure out something different to do for the title page on September than what I was originally planning, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. But I think it came out so cute. Honestly, I'm so glad that I decided to work on my reading journal for a little bit again. I feel like I always forget how much I like doing my reading journal until I pull it out to do it. It's kind of one of those hobbies that is not necessarily at the forefront of my mind because I do have to like allot time to where I can just like sit in bed and like do nothing except for journal. But like I said, it's just like really relaxing and like a really good creative outlet. Definitely one of my favorite hobbies that I have started ever since I kind of got into reading as well, because it just combines multiple of my different hobbies. It's like reading and coloring and journaling and stuff like that. Yeah, I love it. And I love these journals also. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just grab it. So I have this journal as well, which this was my 2024 reading journal. My very first year reading. This was like my little title page. I didn't even end up finishing this one, which look at this spread that I did for Iron Flame also. This is like one of my favorite things I've ever created. I didn't even end up finishing this one though because powerful. Anyway, I'm getting so distracted, but I ended up just forgetting that I had a reading journal, I think, like kind of similar thing. So I made it to July, I guess. Oh no, I did August last year. How could I forget? I did this little cake spread. I think the last one I did was August. No, oh my gosh, I also did September. Totally forgot that I did that. Oh my gosh, and I did October. What is going on? I think the reason I don't remember these is because I didn't actually do anything inside of these months. I think literally I just did the title pages towards the end, which is what I don't want to happen for this year's reading journal. Why I'm like trying to stay on top of it once I noticed that I was kind of like forgetting that the reading journal was a thing. Also, this spread from February last year, it took me so long to make this little door and I decided not to do that in my reading journal this year, but it was very cute. Anyway, so this is my reading journal from last year. I got this out to talk about the journal itself. I'm literally getting so distracted. So I got this, it's like a cloth bound journal from Etsy, and then I got this one this year from the same seller, and then I bought this little pin thing separately. I just thought it was like cute on the denim and it says my name, and I love the way that they look together. I love that each year has like its own thing, and eventually like I'll have a shelf full of my reading journals and I can look back through the years and like look at what I was reading, how I was rating it, so what my favorite books were, like favorite quotes, all the stats, and like each month I'll be able to see what videos I was posting, and like I don't know, I just love stuff like that. But I really like these journals. Obviously I've bought from the same seller 2 years in a row. And I think I want to get a similar journal for like classics specifically, because I feel like with classics there's going to be a lot of things that like I want to kind of like make notes on so that I don't forget like important key things that I want to talk about, because sometimes I'll be reading a book, I'll like read something and be like, oh my god, I definitely need to bring that up, like that hit so close to home, and there's like multiple reasons why it's hitting close to home or why I think it's a huge part of the story, or I'm thinking to myself, okay, I should bring that up, and then I'll literally finish the book and forget to ever like mention it. So I feel like with classics specifically, I want to have a journal where I label whatever classic I'm reading and then can write down like page numbers that quotes are on, and then like what I was thinking whenever I underlined it if it's something that I want to bring up after the fact, because I just feel like there's a lot more that you can like pull from classics, especially some of the ones that I have gotten where it's like, oh, this really makes you think about like the human experience and what it means to be human, or like just things like that, where I feel like there's going to be some things that are like really impactful, if that makes sense. So I was thinking about ordering one, but I can't decide if I want to get one from the same brand or if I want to get one from a different brand. That way my classics journals stand out from the reading journals. I'll put some images on screen of like a couple of the ones that I was thinking about getting from this seller on Etsy. So I don't know, let me know your opinion if you think that it would be better to have my classics journal be like a little bit different, because I was thinking I'll also keep the classics journal like on the classics shelf with the rest of the classic books, and then like my reading journals will be on a separate shelf altogether, so like they will be separated in that way. And the thing is too, like I already know that I like this seller, I love the journals, I love both of the journals that I've gotten, they're both really good quality, they're super cute, like every time that I pull them out to use them I genuinely like love them so much. So that's what kind of makes me want to just like stick with what I already know, if that makes sense. I don't know, let me know your opinion, what you think, or if you have any journals that you recommend that are like kind of similar to this. Like I really like the fact that it's like a different texture, and also I really like specifically on the one that I got for this year how the pages are blank, because in this one I think at the time like maybe they were sold out or something like that, but I had to get like this grid pattern, which it wasn't the worst thing, but I definitely prefer having like just the full blank pages in this one, especially having this one this year compared to having this one first. I definitely like am looking for one that has like empty pages, and I like the texture of these pages too, like they're kind of like thicker but then like smooth, if that makes sense. So I don't know, if you guys have any recommendations, please let me know. If you just have an opinion on if you think that I should just continue with the same ones and it will be fine because it's separate, if you think I should get a different one, because I'm very conflicted and I don't want to order one until I'm like 100% on one, so that I don't like regret my purchase down the road. Anyway, those are journal thoughts, my final journal update. I also wanted to give a book update because I have made it quite a ways. I think I only have like 45 minutes left in the book or something. I'm glad that I continued on, honestly. I'm glad that I continued on because since I started listening again, there has been a few things revealed. I won't say what, obviously, first of all, because I don't want to spoil anything, but there have been a few things revealed that really helped the plot for me and like helped my interest in the story. Like I was interested in it. I feel like I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like it's just feeling like one of those books that's like, oh, this is a really good book, but like it's not going to be at like the very top of my recommendation list, if that makes sense, but like I'm enjoying myself while reading it is kind of what I'm thinking. What I just listened to and like things that just like got added into the story definitely like raised, like before I was like, okay, this is definitely going to be like a 3-star read, 3.5-star read, but after that I'm like, okay, this could potentially be like a solid 4-star read depending on how it ends. I'm interested to see how it ends. And also I feel like if you've read this book, obviously you know Jax, I feel like I am a red flag because why do I like him so much? Like I shouldn't, right? Like I shouldn't like him. I mean, okay, and I don't like him for the character that everything is happening with, but I like him as a character separately, which makes me really excited to read Once Upon a Broken Heart because that's kind of like a whole separate thing. It does make me very intrigued like what Once Upon a Broken Heart is even about though, because I have like not read the synopsis. I've specifically stayed away from anything about that series since I bought it because I knew I wanted to read it eventually, and I just like going into books as blind as possible if I can. Obviously there's some books that I like read the whole synopsis for and like want to get into, but there's specific books where I'm like, okay, this book I want to go into like knowing nothing, but it does make me like very intrigued to like what's actually going to happen in Once Upon a Broken Heart, because his whole setup and like everything that's happening right now, I'm like, how how could he turn into like a main character in a whole separate series? It's like so intriguing. Anyway, I'm really glad that I continued on with the audiobook. I think that I'm going to listen to the audiobook while I clean everything up because of course there's just like a giant mess left over every time that I do my reading journal. So I think I'm going to listen to it while I get everything cleaned up. And then I think I'm actually going to pull out my physical copy and relax in bed and finish the book out with a little immersive read because I really want to finish it right now. I am very intrigued in the plot and I feel like now's a good time for me to finish it while I'm actually like genuinely in the mood to read it. Like I feel like with being a mood reader, you have to just like whenever the mood strikes, run with it or else it will cause issues. So I'm taking a hint from myself and I'm going to clean up, relax in bed and do a little immersive read and finish the book, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on how the book ends. I'm very interested to see because it could really go one way or another. We're either going up or we're going down from here. Officially finished the Carval trilogy. This trilogy was like such a wild ride for me, and I feel like shouldn't have been. I feel like every other update in the first and second and this book as well, I was like feeling different ways, and I think it's just because like every section of this book is like I feel a different way, and I think it's just because like I don't know. Let me restart. I think that this book, I'm gonna land on a 3.75. I was feeling like, okay, this could honestly be a 4-star read, but I think because I was so like back and forth and like the first half of this book like really didn't have me, like it was interesting, but it almost just felt like, okay, here we go again. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you've read the first two and you get to this one, it was just like, again, you know, is how it started. I will say the second half of this book genuinely saved it for me. It made it so much more interesting. I love the way that it ended. It makes me really, really excited to go into Once Upon a Broken Heart. Like I'm so excited to get into that series. Bowie is playing Minecraft with his cousin and they are fighting off zombies and it's getting very intense. Anyway, I'm really, really excited to go into Once Upon a Broken Heart now. I am glad that I read the Carval trilogy beforehand and have that whole full story. I'm also very interested to see like how having all of the backstory from Carval, like how that kind of comes into play in Once Upon a Broken Heart. But I'm glad that I read it, so I'll have that like in my mind, like that whole backstory, like everything, all that stuff. Yeah, I think I'm gonna land on 3.75 stars. I am glad that I kept going with it and didn't give up because the second half of this book, in my opinion, was so much better than the first half of this book. I will say, like, I don't know why I like Jax's character so much. Maybe it's because I know that he's in the next book, but it's like I genuinely feel like I'm a red flag because he didn't really do anything in this book that should like have me like, ooh, Jax. But it's like what he said was kind of hot. Like I don't you know what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't be. Like it shouldn't be. In real life, that would be atrocious. However, in this book, okay, so with all that being said, I don't know, I just kind of, in books, sometimes I like a man that's like a little bit morally gray, you know, and it's like, I feel like Jax was really giving that because he has all these moments where it's like, what you're doing is actually like terrible, like you shouldn't do that, red flag, but then you get glimpses and she's like, I can see this side of him, I can see that he's been hurt, I can see this, that, or the other, and I feel like I love that like give and take of like, ooh, I shouldn't like this character, but I can like, you know what I'm saying? And again, maybe that's a red flag on my part. I'm willingly accepting this and admitting this. But yeah, I'm really glad that I read it. Very excited to go into Once Upon a Broken Heart. Very glad to be done with the Carvel trilogy. I think I would still recommend this. However, this is probably like the first series that I have read that I feel like would have gotten a higher rating if one, I had read it when I was a little bit younger maybe, or two, maybe like if I had read it earlier on in my reading journey, because at this point I have read so much fantasy and I'm such a huge lover of fantasy that this just didn't hold up to a lot of the other fantasy books that I really deeply love and obsess over and recommend all the time, if that makes sense. So I do think it kind of fell victim to like me comparing it to other things that I've really loved, but also that just comes with the territory of like reading more books and like becoming a more diverse reader. Also, like I've really been trying to like read a little bit of everything so that I can figure out what I do like, and you never know if you like something until you try it. So like I really try to be open to all books and like trying all books. So I feel like if I would have read this like when I first started reading, like this could have potentially been like a 4.5, maybe even 5-star read, because I just didn't have anything else to compare it to, if that makes sense. But I just, at the stage that I'm at right now and like everything that I've read and the type of reader that I am right now, it just was like a decent read. I do think that for some people, like I said, if you were maybe a little bit younger, you don't read a lot of fantasy, or just like depending on what you're looking for, I would still recommend this trilogy. And also depending on like if I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, I'm very interested to see if like now that I've read the whole thing, if I agree with the whole thing of like you should definitely read this before Once Upon a Broken Heart. Like maybe I would recommend it for that reason if I really like read Once Upon a Broken Heart and also agree with the fact that you should read this trilogy first. Yeah, I'm very interested to see if that is the case, if I agree with that sentiment that you should read this before Once Upon a Broken Heart, or if I think you should just skip over it and go straight to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'm very interested and excited to see like if the writing feels similar, because I feel like there's a large group of people that love Once Upon a Broken Heart and don't like this and just like tell people to skip it all the time. So I'm very interested to see if the reasoning behind that is because like the writing is super different, or maybe just like the overall vibes of the story is completely different and that's why it's like kind of really split. Yeah, overall just really excited. Loved the ending of this though, like genuinely the last like 100 pages of this, like it was so good. Closing the chapter on our Carvel era. I think that's where I'm going to end this video. I honestly just wanted to spend a few cozy little days with you guys, not do anything too crazy, just fun little hobbies. I had a great time. I love videos like this because it kind of forces me to like slow down and like really enjoy things. I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in like being productive that sometimes you just need a little reminder that it's good to have hobbies and cozy little hobbies and just things that you can do that don't necessarily serve like a function or a purpose other than being therapeutic or being something that makes you happy or being something that you love. I needed that reminder, and hopefully if any of you guys needed that reminder as well, this encourages you to take some time to slow down, do some hobbies just for yourself. Like just do something for yourself, whether that is reading, journaling, doing a puzzle and listening to an audiobook, or learning guitar. And that has been a hobby that I've actually really been enjoying, and it's just like so easy and convenient. So click the link and check out Liber Live also while we're here. But that's all I have for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!